Young David wanted to work, but no one would hire him due to his young age. He was just a boy, and his neighborhood was way too rough to do any kind of door-to-door salesman work like mowing lawns or selling cookies or something like that. Slightly older David began working 2 jobs for a few years while also balancing school. He got on self-improvement and he began valuing the time that he had to himself, so that he could think and put all of his effort into his improvement. He would skip work and, frequently reduce his hours to a barely livable wage. Present David is about to be kicked to the streets and is now working before open to after close on 12-hour shifts, 12, 13-hour shifts every day. It's only day 3 of the pay period, and he has 32 hours put in. Now, it may seem ironic for me to be making this video when clearly my work schedule seems to be so unbalanced, but I'd like to share with you the lessons that my experience has outlined for me. Number 1, everybody matters. This may not seem like really relevant to you right now, but it'll make sense as this video develops. The number 1 thing that I've found to matter absolutely most is caring for other people, caring for everyone you meet as if they were family, as if they were your bloodline. Now, if there are probably, a lot of excuses that come to your mind right now after hearing that as to why you can't do that, why people are so evil and, why they don't deserve it. Let me assure you, it is by far the most efficient approach to living a fulfilling and happy life. Another objection that you may have is that you already put too much effort into people. Well, maybe you aren't putting it in the right places. When you see everyone around you as important and as individuals, and you acknowledge that they themselves have needs, wants, desires, experiences of their own, etc., you become much, much more interested and expressionate during your conversations. Now, this may not seem a whole hell of a lot, but think about this. If the best gift you can give someone is your attention, holding them in your mind even just for a second, and caring, which is the purest form of love, think about the thing that everyone vies for nowadays. Attention. Most have their attention so sapped by technology and social media and it's bad. But they neglect to even, save any attention for themselves, much less others, in their lives, like their parents, their girlfriends, even their pets. Also for many people, every day before they work, their energy and enthusiasm declines rapidly as their shift gets closer. Have you ever been in the break room or something before work starts, or even during your lunch? As the lunch, gets closer to ending, the energy and enthusiasm that was once there just kind of tapers off. If there was a happy discussion, it's gotten a lot quieter. It's gotten a lot less energy in it. This just leaves the office and production floors completely void of, any energy, and it reeks of silence. Everyone just working to the day's end. Can you think back to the days where you did have conversations compared to when you didn't? When you decided to stay quiet for pretty much the entirety of the shift, and It's a very common trap. It's interesting to do, and when you decide to stay quiet, you know, compared to when you do decide to talk, the difference is astonishing. You may also find for yourself that your shift moves much quicker, like so much quicker at work. And the work, like, it becomes so much easier, and far more tolerable than when you were quiet. Now, due to like this common training in leadership nowadays, that we seem to, I sound like a grandpa nowadays, talking about like social media and ranting about all this. I sound like a grandpa, don't I? Anyway, but yeah, the common leadership training that workers need to be driven out of fear and deadlines rather than a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Many organizations are viewing people as functions and trying to optimize their environment to dry up all of the productivity that they can sap out of these people in the short term. For their short-term goals, their short-term financial goals, the new quota, the deadline, right? The period. You can see this in almost every factory you walk into when they do their annual bottom 10% layoff, where they lay off the bottom 10% of the underperforming people. They don't even have to be underperforming, just the lowest 10% that are performing. They're cutting costs so that way they can make room for newer and potentially higher achieving workers. How fucked up is that? It's just creating a very negative and stressful environment, untrusting and fearful even, for, of being constantly micromanaged and, or like fear of underpayment, underperforming, etc. The system saps from people's energy reserves and potential value without offering back any type of fulfillment, or at the very least a positive and secure working environment. I hear so many people talk about how they don't need people, and even go as far as to say that they hate them. I hate people, I don't like people, people suck, like, I've been betrayed so many times, that kind of thing. You've heard it. Or they'll complain about how unsocial they are. This makes me so sad, like, because nearly everything in our lives can be related to other people. Our entire life's success is determined by the value we bring to other people, right? How we interact with others can mean the difference in our entire life's trajectory. From how people treat us, to the things they do for us, to how their body language is, etc. In fact, one can go to like a church sermon for an hour, listen to like a 10-minute motivational video, or even just like, a good quote, hear a good quote, see a good quote, and be motivated for weeks by it. If one small thing can bring such a monumental impact onto us and our emotions in such a short amount of time, then imagine the influence you can have and the value that you can bring to other people's lives and the time that you spend with them. Those people you live with, those people you go to school with, the people that you work with, the people that you see in the break room every day, that that one cook you always see at your favorite store, etc. Right? Imagine how much of a positive impact you have the ability to bring on these people you spend not just an hour with, not just 10 minutes with, not just a few seconds with, but 40 hours a week with. Often people, before work, everyone's going to be laughing and enjoying themselves, and slowly as the shift gets closer, the enthusiasm just sizzles out. I know I already mentioned this, but everyone begins shutting down their personalities, honesty, their humor, their openness, whatever else. The same transition can be seen at the beginning and end of break times. The, oh well, back to work feeling, it washes over everyone. Alright, which leads me to the question, why can't work be fun? Right? Now there's something I want to bring up here. It's called the ripple effect. And it bridges off of everyone matters. I want to mention this because emotions are contagious. And we all have heard the same saying. Right? And maybe we've even done a little bit of digging into why, like reading up on why emotions are contagious. But I want to mention, because it's still very important, that people understand how contagious their emotional state is. It's also important to realize that how other people's emotions are affecting you, because then you can look at some of that and take that home. Take home the negativity. And as the saying goes, the man kicked the dog bit the cat, and so on, right? Now, emotional contingency is another word that you could use for it. One way you can protect yourself is constantly, from this constant negativity, is to be hopelessly optimistic in the world of decrepitating pessimism today. When someone's complaining about their job, or something someone else did, or failed to do, find the smallest and most ridiculous things, if necessary, and point them out. How they could be good, or, the possible value or positives it could bring. Twist as much logic as you can, or as you need, to turn a hopelessly, negative situation into a completely ironic and hilarious situation. Even if you fail, you and the person you were talking to will just start laughing about how ridiculous it was, and you can help them get into a better mood just like that. And then once they feel better, you can ask them to talk about whatever it was that was bothering them in the first place. And then you can try to find a solution to it, which will make them feel even better, rather than just complaining about it. Just by trying to show that you care, people will be extremely receptive towards you, and eventually they'll even reciprocate it. Have you ever heard someone say, if I got paid more, then I'd do better at my job? Well, that's not how life works, is it? You do your job, then you get a raise. It's the same process when you interact with others. Now sure, some employers may cheat you of that raise, or short you, or take advantage of you. And there are going to be people like that in life. To that, I don't know if I really have a good answer. But not everyone is like that. I can guarantee you that. Because I have had those employers. I have had many of those people in my life. You must always expect to be the initiator and put in what you get out. Literally the only thing that you need to be labeled as charismatic and sociable is being able to get people to feel good again. Just a thought. Stay on task.